What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a 4th of July episode of the Daily Juice Podcast with me, Matt Perrault at Sports Talk Matt. To follow me on Twitter for now here on this podcast being brought to you by our friends at omahasteaks.com. What a day to order some Omaha steaks. You're going to be grilling out. So chances are, if you got a freezer, you're probably going through some of your steaks, going through some of your burgers. You got to restock that stuff. And why not take advantage of the opportunity here to save some money? 61% off the gourmet grill pack at omahasteaks.com. You go to the website, in the search bar, type in juice. That will activate the 61% savings. You get fillets, turkey, or chicken breast rather. You get pork, you get desserts, you get franks, you get seasoning, and 8 Omaha Steak burgers for using the promo code JUICE at omahasteaks.com. In the search bar, go check it out for the 61% savings with our friends at omahasteaks.com. Okay. So right now it is 5-4 Marlins. Let me double check latest look here. It's 9 o'clock on the East Coast, so we're struggling here with this. It's 5-4, bottom 8. Marlins need to record 3 more outs, and they will win this game, and we will go 1-0 on the day. The late game, the Mariners, over. We got a good number, 7. It's 8 now at some books, 7.5 at some books for that number for the Mariners game. We'll have to wake up in the morning and be like East Coast people and realize, okay, did I go 1-1 or 2-2 if the Marlins hold on? I don't know. So it's the 4th of July. I am here in Vegas, I'm here in Boston for tomorrow or today. And then I am home for the recording of the Juice for Thursday. Okay. Barring any travel nightmare situation. Okay. I am traveling at night. So there might be a little bit of a snafu or two. I'm supposed to be back in Vegas at 8:30 Pacific time on Wednesday night. If that doesn't happen, I'll let you guys know. So there could be a travel problem here or there, but hopefully everything's going to work out well. There'll be no issues, and we'll be back to record the podcast for Thursday on Wednesday night. So just heads up on my travel situation as to what's going on. If you don't see a podcast drop, look at my Twitter account or look at my Instagram account. I'll update you guys as to what's going on both of those. Supposedly there's a rival coming out to Twitter this week that Instagram is going to be doing, which I am welcoming with open arms. Give me an alternative, and that's where I will go. Right now, here's the thing. If you have not joined our Discord channel, you really should join it. In particular, ahead of football season, you should 100% join it. But Discord just did a big purge. If you haven't been active, I think in the last 90 days on our Discord channel, you've been kicked out, okay? So to get in, it's bettingpros.com/chat to get the invitation to go and join our Discord channel. If you haven't used Discord in a while, but you keep listening to this podcast, check out your Discord channel and whether or not you're able to access the Betting Pros Discord channel. There might be a problem there for you. Just FYI on that. Take a look at it because there may be, you may have been kicked out. So get back in, be a part of our Discord channel here with bettingpros.com/chat to get into it. Okay, so like I mentioned, I don't know what happened yesterday. It probably is a 1-0 mark. We're 3 outs away from getting there for the Marlins, who are up 5-4 on the Cardinals. So we're hoping that we see a W here. We're hoping we get a win. But 5-4 now with still 1 out in the bottom. Pitching change coming for the Cardinals here. So we'll see what happens with the Mariners and the Giants. That total, we bet over 7 in that game. And it went back down to 7. Okay, so I saw 7.5. I saw you saw 8. So it looks like the under came in with some money for Webb and Wu, but we're going over there on that game. So either should be a 1-1 night at worst here for a Monday into a Tuesday. Okay, so let's start talking about a couple of games for tomorrow. Look, if you are somebody who wants to bet the hot dog eating contest, I think you bet the over this year. I mean, I think 72.5 for Joey Chestnut. He's going to win this thing. I think the books are finally putting up a number. Everyone has bet under. It's kind of like the Army-Navy game. Everyone's like, bet the under. Well, I think Army-Navy went over when everybody started betting the under. 72.5, he gets to 73 dogs and he goes over. I don't bet this crap. I don't watch this crap. It's, it is what it is. It's Some people get into it. I really don't. I get nauseous watching it, to be quite honest. So if you have to have action on the hot dog eating contest, there you go. I say bet the over 72.5 dogs. I won't be betting it. It is Ohtani Day. Angels and the Padres. The total is 7.5 here for this game. This is pretty interesting when you start looking at some of the numbers here for the Angels and what the Angels have done. Ohtani on the road is not as good of a pitcher, and Musgrove at home is not as good of a pitcher as he normally would be. So while the numbers are sitting there going like, all right, it's 7.5. These 7.5s, it's not like I am, completely blindly betting over 7.5. But when I do see it, I start to look at this and go, do I really want to get involved with this? Because I think there's a chance the games go over simply because of how the teams generally play. And the Angels, look, they're not awful offensively. They've been scoring at times decently. They had the day off yesterday. They're on the road down to San Diego. And I'll be really curious to see what happens. Now, the game last night hasn't even started yet by the time I'm taping this podcast. So just FYI, as you're watching the game going like, wait a minute, like what happened last night? I don't know. I really don't know what happened last night. But we're talking about the July 4th game for this. And look, the pitching changes, when I'm putting this up so early, I'm hoping the pitching change, nothing happens here. This is a TBS game. It's Ohtani against Musgrove. Ohtani 7-3 with a 3.02 ERA. But Ohtani on the road has a 4.03 ERA and the opposing batting average of 200. Now, that's not exactly amazing, okay? I totally understand that. It's not huge, but it is something to look at here. When he goes on the road, he's not nearly as good. He's still good, but not nearly as good. Against Texas, gave up 2 runs, 5-3 final in that game. Against Houston, gave up 4 earned runs, 5 runs, a 6-2 final. Last 2 times on the road, 8 runs have been scored, so we're going over 7.5, okay? Musgrove at home has not been as good as Musgrove on the road, and maybe you get Ohtani and the bats get going here against Joe Musgrove. He has a 4.34 ERA at home. He is 3-1, but a 2.53 opposing batting average, 18 earned runs in 37 1/3 innings worth of work. And last time out, yes, it was good against the Washington Nationals, but 16 runs got scored, 13-3, 7 innings, 1 earned run against Tampa, 6 innings, 2 earned runs against Cleveland, 6 innings, 3 earned runs. So if he gives up 3 runs in 5 innings, the bullpen comes in. If Ohtani gives up 3 or 4 runs, it's 3-3 after 7, and we're heading towards a pretty good number here that we're going to wind up getting ourselves 8 runs scored in this game. I got even money on this. I'm betting the over between the Padres and the Angels, over 7.5, even money. Yep, I know it's Ohtani, but kind of like what we're seeing a little bit with guys like Alcantara. I think the books haven't adjusted properly to see what's happening with some of these starting pitchers. Over 7.5 Padres and the Angels. And just one more bet here on July the 4th. And this is what, I haven't been watching a ton of baseball, obviously. I've been on vacation. But the Rays are the number 1 team at home in Major League Baseball. The Rays are taking on the Phillies. The Phillies 22-23 on the road. The Rays are 34-10 at home. So they're minus 140. It's Nola against Eflin, though, and it's 7.5. But the over is juiced to minus 120. And the reason for that is that the numbers for the Tampa Bay Rays at home have been pretty impressive, okay? Tampa at home is 29-14-1 to the over. Philly is 18-24-3 to the over, so they're an under team on the road. But you take a look at the fact Tampa's gone over their last 3 games, and maybe you have a chance to get after Nola a little bit, and maybe we have some offensive, punch from the Rays who come in. Nola's ERA on the road is 5.34, 245 opposing batting average, 11 home runs given up on the road. These Rays hit a ton of home runs. But this offense for Philadelphia maybe comes up. Maybe they come to life. Maybe it's a chance for Philly to score some runs here. Philadelphia scored 19 runs against Washington a couple of days ago. So, they've been putting some runs on the board. 8 against Chicago. just in the last 5 games. This is the first meeting of the year between the Rays and the Phillies, and sometimes when these teams play each other, some wonky things can happen. Zach Eflin at home is a 2.17 ERA. He's 8-0 with a 209 batting average. So again, I definitely think you could, if you're interested in laying juice, you can lay it with a minus 140 bet for the Rays at home. I don't hate that. Just not really interested in laying that type of juice. In particular, when it's only minus 120 for the over 7.5, I think there's a good chance we get this. I'm going to go with the over taking the Rays on the money line, but I'll have a personal play on the Rays money line as well. So if you want to have more action, I think take the Rays to win the game with Zach Eflin on there, only minus 140. Minus 120, over 7.5 runs. Phillies and the Rays, minus 120, 1.2 units down on that. All right, so just 2.2 units in play here today for the 4th of July. I got, obviously, Tuesday, Wednesday left of the vacation. Then I'm back on Thursday, and I'll be able to really start to dig into what's going to happen this weekend. We'll open up. We'll start taking advantage of the bankroll a little bit as to where we are here. We've done pretty well here. It's been pretty fun to see what we've done and how things have gone and the way things have rolled for us over the last couple of weeks. Podcast, let's see if we're updated here in terms of where we've been total wise for us on the podcast now. We are now, no, we have not updated it yet. So we're over 54%, I believe, hitting on the podcast historically. So, which is good. And we're up, I think, nearly 22, 21 units so far. I'll get that officially tomorrow for us to be able to roll with it. But over 7.5 Angels, over 7.5 for the Rays, even money in minus 120 for those 2 bets. Happy 4th of July. Please do me a favor and don't do anything stupid with your hands, okay? Want all 10 digits for you guys for the rest of your life, okay? Don't be dumb. Don't drink and let off fireworks. Be safe. Don't drink and boat on top of that as well, okay? Drunk driving on a water, with a boat is just as bad as drunk driving on a car, so be careful for everyone around you. Have a safe, healthy, and happy 4th of July. Enjoy it, and we'll be back coming up tomorrow for another episode of the Daily Juice Podcast, always being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.